tell us who the hell Amelia is.
I have never publicly told this story.
You're not popular. There is like the story behind.
I'm tired of making other people rich. I'll never forget this. I am crying right now.
Aww.
And you don't have to pay for the course.
Have you ever had a relationship with your boss?
I'm so sorry, Mohammed. I know you wanted a different answer. I had no money.
But we are being honest here.
For 7 years.
You don't have kids yet.
No, I don't want kids.
You're the perfect choice for Mohammed.
It was choosing that brand over my personal brand, and I wouldn't do it any other way. So
that's how the big brands start.
Yeah.
This is the PMU Space Community Podcast. Here we have real, honest talk about ups and downs and how to grow as an artist. Level up your skills and build a beauty business that actually lasts. PMU Space is where your progress begins. She was completely broke. So broke that she had to clean a PMU studio after the class just to pay for her basic training. Today, she's the co-owner of Hanafy Pigments Americas, leading the distribution across the continent for one of the biggest pigment brands in the world, Hanafy. In this episode of the PMU Space podcast, the global community for permanent makeup artists, we will dive into Amelia Gil unexpected journey into PMU, how she built AMG Cosmetics tattoo from scratch, and why Hanafy chose her to lead their US expansion. Tune in to hear how one of the artists built trust, reputation, and a national operation without chasing clout, just results. Hello, my dear. I'm so happy to see you here, and thank you so much for joining this project and our podcast. And I really hope that today you will be very honest and share a real life story of your personal success in the PMU.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the invitation.
We have prepared the game for you. Have you ever questions?
Okay.
Let's warm up a little bit.
Okay.
Have you ever been ashamed of the results of your work?
Yes.
Many times?
No.
Have you ever done PMU on yourself?
No.
Would you?
No. I know too many talented artists.
Have you ever paid to be a speaker?
No.
Have you ever been invited to be a speaker?
Like kind of more just around Hanafy stuff. Kind of just to go and
Did
like
you want to
like
be on the stage?
No.
Why?
I really just don't put a lot of emphasis on my personal brand. I find that my energy goes further in putting it into like the back end of another brand that builds brand equity, and I just feel like a more true version of myself when I'm doing that kind of stuff than to kind of be facing forward. I'm so sorry, Mohammed. I know you wanted a different answer.
But we are being honest here. Have you ever been jealous of another PMU artist's success?
No, but not because that's not normal. I think jealousy is normal. It's more just the way you handle it. But for me, I knew I was never really super aligned with being an extremely successful artist. It's just not really what I wanted. I wanted more of like creating extremely successful brand or business or something like that, which kind of goes along with my other answer. So I've been to like jealous of other business owners and stuff like that. I think it's, normalize that. What's not normal is to have bad envy or negative envy. It's more something you need to recognize as those people should inspire you, because it's super exciting to see somebody doing better than you, because it means that it's possible.
Does the successful success upset you when you see it like all over?
No, definitely not. Like I just said, I think it's inspiring. I think if you feel that you're getting upset over somebody else,
You don't feel it fake?
Success?
Successful success. Like, you know
Oh.
what we see this all Instagram posts and stories of with the super successful
Okay, yeah,
PMU
I
artists
understand.
that are riding Lamborghinis and like, um,
Um, it doesn't upset me. If anything, it makes me feel like I just don't align. I'm not really like aligned with that because more often than not, you meet those people and you like pull back the curtain of what's really going on, and it's never. Let's just say nothing is ever as it seems.
have you ever had a mentor who totally changed your life?
Yes, of course, Mohammed.
Aww. Have you ever had a relationship with your boss?
No. I've been in a very committed relationship.
You
My
have
whole
actually tell us a little bit. Like you have a fiance, you said.
yeah.
How long have you been together?
For 7 years this past
Aw.
May. Yeah.
You don't have kids yet.
No, I don't want kids. Hanafy is my baby.
Aww. You're the perfect choice for Mohammed. No kids, business oriented, doesn't even want kids. So for the nearest future,
Yeah.
use her.
Yeah.
Have you ever used the other artist pictures to promote yourself?
No, I'm super honest, so I would feel very weird doing that. I've also seen people get caught, which is another really awkward thing, and it's just never something I felt I needed to do.
Have you ever done PMU on a friend and wish you hadn't?
No, I do my friends so good, which is I've heard a lot of people mess up their friends, but luckily all my friends look good and are very happy with their PMU that I've done. So, no.
So tell us, who the hell Amelia is?
And luckily for you, it's really hard for me to lie. So you will get a lot of the truth and probably too much of it. But tell me, what would you like to know about me? I'm here to answer.
I want to know, where the hell have you jumped out and just appeared the first person and the whole American market, including USA, Canada, Latin America, leading the brand as a co-owner of Hanafy Pigments. Tell us your background, first of all. Well, like, where are you from? Who are you?
Okay, so I am from a small town just a few hours north of here in Miami. I am just somebody who likes to do business, mind my business, just work. And I really identify with being an entrepreneur. So I feel this role is really something that was made for me. But other than that, I mean, I just grew up in a small town. I have a wonderful family, and this kind of found me very randomly. I would say I don't know if I found it as much as it found me, because when I originally went into my first lip blush appointment, which is what brought me into this industry, I didn't even know I was getting a tattoo. I had no idea how the color was going to be applied, what was going to happen. I just knew I needed it. So
How did it happen? Did you just trust the artist, or you, I don't know.
yeah, really. I mean, so obviously Instagram, which is why it's so important to have a good Instagram. And so I just knew I needed something. I don't think I was ready at that point to get filler in my lips, but I knew I needed some color. You know, I was ready for a little bit of a change. I had just moved to Miami a few months prior, and I needed to Miamify myself. I needed to add something. So I was like, okay, how can I get some color in my lips? Found something called lip blush, looked up and down, found someone in my area, and just like that, I convinced my boyfriend at the time, now fiance, to pay for the appointment for me to get my lips blushed.
How much was it?
It was $650, but I didn't have that at the time. So it was me asking for a birthday gift that I needed to have some color on my lips. I didn't really care how it got there. Didn't really research it either, and just went to the appointment and got my lips tattooed.
Actually, ChatGPT told us that there is a story behind it that started your PMU career. And I wonder, well, how does he know it?
It's a great question, but I will tell you here. So, yeah, I really just went into that appointment not really sure what was going to happen. And I hit it up with, really hit it off with the artist who was doing it for me. And she told me, what are you doing right now? And at the time, I was working in fashion. So I worked at a swimwear, like beachwear brand here in Miami, doing fashion, making very little money, barely.
What did you
barely
do?
enough.
Like a
So I started as a
modeling or-
personal assistant there, and then I worked my way into a production manager. But unfortunately, those two things did not come with a pay raise. So it was, it was tough. Living in Miami is very expensive, and so it was just enough to make the rent. And I was really just kind of open to doing new things. Both myself now and even my boyfriend at the time, we have very entrepreneurial spirits. So he had already begun his entrepreneurial journey, and it was something that I had wanted as well. So once I had gotten my lips tattooed and the artist approached me afterward, what are you doing? And I told her, like, I'm doing this job. I'm not making very much money, but I have a passion for all things creative, all things artistic. And she was like, have you considered doing this? And I was like, no, I actually came here not knowing what this was at all.
Guys, thank you so much for watching this podcast. We put our heart and soul into it to make it interesting and motivational for you. Please give us your support, like and follow so more artists can see it. Thank you in advance. Love ya.
And so that's, when she asked me if I would be interested in coming to a course of hers. But I told her, like, look, my boyfriend paid for this appointment. I don't have the money for your course, but thank you so much for inviting me. And she told me, like, don't worry about it. Come early, bring me some coffee, stay late, clean the studio, and you don't have to pay for the course. So obviously I did what any sane person would do, and I left and I called my mom. And my mom told me, look, she's not asking for any money, so just go ahead and do it. The worst thing you lose is a Saturday and Sunday, and you can
How
just
old
move
have
on.
you been at that point?
At that point, it was in 2020, so I think it was 22, 23. Yeah, and I really had only been working at that fashion brand for about a year, maybe a little less than a year. So it was pretty fresh into moving to Miami and working out of college.
Okay, so this is how it started. And after the course, did you start to do procedures, and what happened?
So not immediately. Right after that, I was still working my job, and I was going to the studios, just practicing. I was, just trying to figure out how I could make both of them work. But again, I have very much, an entrepreneurial spirit. So I knew I wanted to make it work somehow. And so I started doing lash lifts and brow laminations just to make ends meet. And once I had convinced every person I knew in the city to pay me for either a lash lift or a brow lamination, I was like, okay, I have enough money for rent this month. I'm going to quit my job. And by the next month, I better figure out how to do it again. So that's what I did. And then shortly after that, I started taking models just for content, reaching out to girls here in Miami, anyone who had more than 5,000 followers. I was in their DMs, like, please, I will bless your lips for free. Just, post me on your story. And from that, it just kind of took off to a pretty steady pace, enough to make ends meet.
Do you remember your first client that basically paid you money?
Well, a lot of my friends in the beginning would just end up buying me dinner, which was totally cool with me at the time. But my first client who paid me money, that's a great question. I probably should remember. It was a girl in my building who I had met in the elevator, and we had just talked, very Miami style, and we had just talked, and I somehow convinced her to come in and pay me for lip blush. So
How much did she pay?
she paid me $300. And that was,
She was happy?
yeah, she was very happy. She was very happy. I was happy too. You know, there's, in the beginning, I think there's a common misconception of thinking that you're going to love all of the work that you do. But there was definitely days that I left and I was like, I'll never forget this. I am crying right now because I don't love what I just did. But luckily with lip blush as well.
We all go through that. Everybody
Yeah.
has those moments.
Yeah. And I started with lip blush. I didn't start doing eyeliner or eyebrows or anything like that. And I do think, you know, lip blush, at least the way that I was doing it, I was like, okay, she'll come back for the second session. Not like I'll fix it. With eyebrows, sometimes I, you know, even now I don't really touch them because I think even with the first session, it can be like, it's done. What's done is done. Can't
So it's
fix
perfect.
it. It better be.
Okay, so how did you, well, step by step, did you work, like, did you rent a studio right away or you worked for the salon? How your career, like, grew up?
Yeah, so I worked under the same mentor that I had taken my original class with. I did like an apprenticeship style, so a lot of, you know, just kind of doing studio work in exchange for being able to be there and really watch her work. And I spent the majority of the beginning of my career at that studio until it wasn't for, you know, 3 years later that I ended up kind of moving on and working a little bit in a med spa. And now I work out of a studio one of my good friends has in North Miami, just doing like day rentals of the chair whenever I have like a referred client or something like that. But in the beginning, I was just there. I've never gone through renting my own studio or anything like that. It just wasn't something that I felt was for me.
Worth it. And how did you, so you do powder brows and lips?
Right now, I only offer lips and eyeliner.
Eyeliner. Okay. What kind of eyeliner you do?
Really, I just do lash enhancements because I personally have eyeliner that I will be getting removed soon.
Personal trauma.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there's many people who do it beautifully. There's many clients who have beautiful eyeliner, but for myself and having the work that I have on my eyes for as long as I have, and wanting to remove it, I personally just can't. Like I said, it's hard for me to lie. So I can't look my clients in the eye and tell them like, you're going to love it forever, because I don't.
Sometimes being honest is not working good for you in terms of money, especially.
It's okay.
Well, you know, the trends are changing, and the eyeliners that have been popular before look really trashy now. So we all have that. I have the same type of problem as well. Luckily, it's fading, and but we do have it. And of course, the techniques that are done nowadays, they are like amazing. And I really wish that I had like pure skin and they could get me a nice, beautiful shaded eyeliner that is hardly visible, which makes it be luxurious.
Exactly. Like a very nice lash line enhancement, I think could look super nice, especially just on the right eye to make it pop. But I have a little bit more than that. And so now it's time for it to go.
Okay, now the question that really interests a lot of people. There is not much information about you on internet, so you're not popular. How did it happen that you started to collaborate with one of the best brands and one of the strongest brands and one of the top brands in the PMU industry? Is there like the story behind or something? Tell us, we want to know that. How to do that?
I have never publicly told this story, but of course I will tell you. I guess, do you want the long version or the short version?
We want the long version. We always can cut if it's too long, but I'm sure that we want to taste the details.
Okay, fair enough.
I have something exclusive for you here. Are you a PMU artist in your first few years trying to figure it all out? Or maybe you're an established artist looking to be a part of a supportive community that actually gets it. Or maybe you're already in the beauty industry, thinking about getting into permanent makeup, but not sure if it's the right fit. PMU Space gives you a real look at what it takes, the techniques, the struggles, the breakthroughs, and the business side too. It's your opportunity to explore the world of PMU and decide if it's truly for you. It's a growing support system packed with real advice, live sessions with top artists, and the community that talks openly about what's really happening behind the scenes. Whether you're building your skills, exploring the path, or just looking for your people, PMU Space is where the progress begins. Click the link below or scan a QR code and start exploring PMU Space community today. Your journey begins now.
So I was working at the same studio that I mentioned before with the same mentor, and we had been teaching courses. So obviously majority her students, but I was, tasked with helping a lot in those courses and applying my knowledge as well, and also just providing support to the different students and really being there for them, showing them different tricks, that kind of thing. And so alongside of just apprenticing at that studio, I was also tasked with a lot of business aspects. My college background, I studied actually music business, but also marketing. So I have a degree in marketing. And as I mentioned, going into this experience, it wasn't too long after I graduated college. And so I was, really ready to apply my skills and help that in any way that I could. I was able to learn a lot of information from her, and in return I felt like I had this to offer. So that's really what I did. And so I applied a lot of just of the business aspects that I had learned and stuff like that, and just helping with like different websites and scheduling and anything you can kind of think of in the back end, I was helping with. And so in that case, when we started training students, she was very forward thinking in what she was using for pigments, and she found Hanafy, and she had found Mohammed and Olga, and was like, these are, the people. They really built something based on Olga's knowledge and Mohammed's business background. So I feel very aligned with their values of kind of something that's come from an artist. It was really built because Olga just wanted something really good to use. And I personally also align with that. I feel it's very honest. And so she had found them, and a lot of the students, obviously, once you train with somebody, you want to use whatever your teacher's using. And so they would be like, okay, how can we get Hanafy? And it was kind of a whole process of being like, you have to write this suspicious WhatsApp and wait until you're sleeping to get a response because they're in Russia, and then you have to wait for this like crazy DHL package to come in. And it was a whole situation that people were like, whoa, I what do you mean I can't just get like 2-day shipping? This is crazy. And so she had asked me, you should really reach out to them. I think there's an opportunity here to start bringing these in so we could at least sell them to our students. And I was like, absolutely.
I can't believe there was nobody on the market selling it, like inside.
So I know Lena Gabriana, who did Wool Up USA. She was a distributor, I think, at the same time. But I think a lot of there wasn't really a lot. Like the one or two people who had Hanafy in like bulk, it was like enough to fulfill like their studio and like maybe their students, it's like a crazy venture to ask somebody to put like tens of thousands of dollars into something that the brand itself is not flourished in that market. And of course everybody has their studios and their students, and who has time to build a brand outside of their personal brand. So it was kind of like it just hadn't gotten to that point yet. But I contacted them. I got in touch with Mohammed's brother, Ahmed, who is one of my dear friends now, which is so funny to think about. But in the time I had contacted him, he ran like a lot of the logistics and stuff like that, still does. And also had a conversation with Mohammed and Olga. Okay, how can we do this? And so, we got the prices, we made the purchase, kept them in the studio. I was in charge of, just kind of keeping a handle on like sales and inventory and.
But it was still under your mentor, the name that you're not saying. A secret mentor.
It was still under my mentor, yes. And so I was just kind of running the back end of it. But yeah, the initial purchase was made
the
by
back
her.
end, but the whole work.
Yes, so I wasn't fronting the money. I will not take credit for that. So she was ready, to put up the money and make it work for her students, which was great. So past that, she, fast forward about 6 months or so, maybe closer to a year, she had started to work on a collaboration with Hanafy. We were starting to get color samples from them. I was kind of just maintaining all of the logistics of the samples, the colors, and all of that stuff. And kind of a little bit into that period, she had gotten on, what was that app, Clubhouse? Remember when that had like its little period of popularity? It was essentially like a live podcast. Like people would kind of just go on there and talk, and you can just listen pretty much. Like a live stream with no video. So we're on one of those, and she's also a very honest person. And she had basically been like, I can't use any other brands because a lot of the brands in the US, I just don't align with the ingredients. I don't align with the results. I don't understand why they do what they do. And the owner of said brand had reached out to her and said, I'm open to hear why you don't align with us. Like, I'm open to hear what you know that we don't. And so from there, they had started a collaboration. And it just, it made sense to go with an American brand to collab with her at the time because it was already in the market. It was the number one in the market. And so it really made sense. You can guess.
Perma blend?
Maybe.
Maybe it was Perma blend.
I will not confirm or deny. And so,
of course, we don't say names, but we are honest here.
And so from there, I had reached out to Mohammed, like, look, we're kind of going in a different direction, but, mutual respect. And one of the things that sticks with me, like, still to this day is his response saying, like, if that makes sense for her business, I wouldn't ask her to do anything else. Of course, I like, feelings are not a priority here. If that's what makes sense for her business, who am I to tell her to do something that's not good for business? And I was like, yeah, of course, like, it's not a matter of like, choose me or anything like that. It's really just what makes sense for you. And so I really respected that. But from there, the collaboration between her and the pigment brand had ended, and kind of some time of maybe distancing ourselves. But myself, I'm a very loyal person, and so of course I had always like kind of kept in contact with them. And when things got a little bit precarious and unfortunate between like Ukraine and Russia, I'd reach out to them like, look, I'm sorry you're kind of in this situation. I hope you guys are okay. Of course, all the way over here, I'm like, I know nothing, so I'm just like, the least I could do is say like, look, I'm thinking of you. This situation sucks. And they were like, no, it's okay. Like we're safe. Everything is kind of fine. And, thank you for reaching out. And it just so happened around that time, a little bit after, I had made a very difficult decision to leave that position and just kind of figure things out on my own. And so... You
mean to leave this secret mentor studio and go on your personal and to free yourself out. Let's call it...
Yeah, I mean, it really was freeing more than anything, just not so much because it wasn't free to be there, but because even myself, I had told myself I need something in my life in order to feel like I am doing what I was put here to do, what I feel is my truest self. I need to be finding a way to travel and to own something. I have always been a leader throughout my life. I always feel like very comfortable being in a position of delegation and stuff like that. And so I was like thinking about it, and it was a time that was like very short after my birthday, which always feels like a very transitional period for me, that I was like, this is not who I am. And if I don't do something about it now, I will never. And I'll wake up one day and think, what have I done? What haven't I done? A lot, I wasn't like honest with myself. And so around that time, I had picked up learning e-commerce, which is essentially just owning like stores online. And the one problem I had with not starting my e-commerce store sooner is that I had no money. So
just a little problem.
Just
no
a little
money.
problem. Yeah, so I had no money to start. There's upfront costs of purchasing inventory and having like advertising costs and stuff like that. Even though I had been working for a good amount of time in PMU, it's still just kind of due to the circumstances had maintained a level of making ends meet. And so I didn't have money to purchase any like outside inventory to make things work or anything like that. So I was like, I'm going to work at a med spa here in Coral Gables. One of my best friends was the manager, and they had recently expanded, and she called me and was like, we have an open room. Are you interested in renting it? Like, is that something that the mentor you're working under would allow? And she was like, no. If you're working under me, it's me or nothing. You can't. And I was like, okay, well, I respect you, and I'm so grateful for everything you've given me, but I need to choose me now. So I'm going to go and do this, and I wish you all the best, and I hope you never see me as competition. There's more than enough for everybody in the industry, but I'm going to go do this by myself. And so I started doing that, and shortly after that, I got a call from Muhammad, and in true Muhammad nature, he's just like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I had just finished the position, because I had sent him a message kind of vaguely, being like, hey, if you need anything, I'm not the point of contact at that studio anymore, so just reference this number, not me. And so then he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I had left the studio, everything very amicably, but I will be doing my own thing now, and kind of focusing on more like e-commerce, and also like trying to figure out if I want to build my own brand, personal brand in PMU, or if I want to build an external brand outside of PMU, just kind of focusing on myself and what exactly I was going to do. And he was just like, well, do you want to work with me? And at that point, I had gone through, working in fashion, working under the mentorship, and I felt like I put a lot of work in both of those jobs, and left still being like, I'm still just making ends meet. So I told him honestly, look, I am tired of making other people rich. So unless you want to be partners in this business, I'm sorry, I'm not going to work with you. And he told me, let's do it. Let's start a company together. I trust you. We've worked together very well before, and this is what I want. And so once again, I called my mom and she was like, yeah, I mean, look, like, you should do it. It seems like he trusts you, because at the same time I had told him,
if he's not asking for money, go ahead.
Exactly. I told him
the
straight
best mamas
up.
ever
I was
find.
like, I'm so glad you agreed to be partners, but I have no money.
So you started the partnership with one of the biggest and strongest brands in the PMU world without any money. How did you, how have you been able even to discuss these conditions? Like, yeah, you need me. I'm so cool. I don't know, where am I going to start? I have a big desire. I have no money. I'm telling you right now. But I want to be rich. So if you want to partner with me, invest, send me your product, and I will delegate. I will figure out what to do with it.
Yeah, I was like, I can tell you two things. I'm honest and I'm loyal. So but I don't have money.
Yeah.
So,
Just a little thing.
but one little thing, I'm broke. So with that being said, I, was like, we, can figure this out, but that's on you if you want to.
It's hard to believe. There's going to be something else.
No, he's really, I will say he is a great judge of character because he said, okay, I will send you $10,000 worth of product. You just send me that money back. You keep the rest so that we can keep this going. And I was like, that's insane. I have never met you in person. You are all the way in Russia with at the time, obviously, no visa.
What year was it?
I should know this. If it's...
You're bad in numbers,
End of,
girl.
no, okay, no.
With the years.
End of 2022. So end of 2022, beginning of 2023, around that time.
Was it already, did they start their expansion yet here? Have you been to the PMU Worlds?
No, he didn't even have a visa to come here.
Okay, so you were one of the sneaky
I proved myself.
sneaky agents. We have to go there, we have to be there, we have to get in here.
Yeah. Yeah, so I proved myself, doing the work under my previous mentor. And so when it came time, he was like, okay, and we're going to send you this product and we'll see what happens. I mean, I easily could have just taken it and blocked his number, but I did not do that, obviously.
Well,
and
he could feel your honesty, he's a good businessman. He knows also, he's a good person. I really I respect him, and he's very wise and smart in terms of business. So, these people, they kind of, most of the cases, they can recognize where you're faking or when you're being serious.
Yeah.
And probably he could recognize this entrepreneur John in you, and just see how hard you want it, how dedicated and straightforward you are, and of course how honest you are. And he just trusted, but it's crazy.
It's crazy.
And the answer to this question, as well as many more, you will find out joining PMU Space community. So click the link below and see you there. Oh, by the way, PMU Space community is all you need as a permanent makeup artist in one place. We have courses from world-renowned PMU experts sharing their secrets and tips of award-winning techniques. We have downloadable materials and client forms. All you need, just put your logo on it. Anonymous questions and Fix My Work section will give you personalized feedback from world experts to cover your painful spots. Monthly webinar sessions from the tops of PMU industry will give you more insights on how to grow in the PMU. Here we also discuss news and novelties of the PMU market. We have challenges that make you grow and monthly PMU box raffle. So click the link below and join this amazing community where we help support and grow together. See you there.
Yeah.
Do you choose the partners? What are the criteria?
Yeah, that's not really how I like to choose my partners. Do you want to be on it? Julie Kim, because she's my best friend. Christina Melenchenko, because I respect her.
I don't need to compete. I'm just the best. Yeah. They have built themselves up. They don't need Hanafy.
Maybe they don't need it, but they want it.
Personal trauma. Who is your biggest competitor on the market? Which means fake.
Fake, yes.